Welcome everybody. Today let's talk in brief about antigens. Let's first start with the definitions of antigen or immunogen. What is an antigen? A molecule which reacts specifically with the products of the immune system like antibodies, B or T cell receptors. Such agents are called as antigens. What is an immunogen? A substance which induces a detectable immune response resulting in either the production of antibodies or the activation of T cells. What is the meaning of antigenicity? It is the property that allows a substance to combine specifically with antibodies or the T cell receptors whether or not they are immunogenic. Immunogenicity. It is the ability to induce humoral or cell-mediated immune response. There are two kinds of antigens, complete antigen and a hapten or an incomplete antigen. A complete antigen, it can induce antibody formation and even produce a specific and observable reaction with the produced antibody, and it is a polyvalent antigen. What about a hapten? These are incapable of producing antibodies by themselves, but they can react with the antibodies. They become immunogenic when combined with a larger molecule, and such kind of a large molecule is called as a carrier molecule. So when a hapten is combined with a carrier molecule, that is when they become a hapten carrier conjugate, and that conjugate is immunogenic. It is non-precipitating and it is a univalent antigen. Next, moving on to antigenic determinant or epitope is one and the same thing. It is the smallest unit of antigenicity. It is capable of sensitizing an immunocyte and react with its complementary site on the specific antibody or the T cell receptors. It can be very small or even a little bit large in size. There are two kinds of epitopes. It can be either sequential or linearized epitope or a conformational epitope. What is a sequential or linearized epitope? It is present in a single linear segment of the primary sequence. A conformational epitope is formed by being brought together from different sites on a peptide chain with its folding into a tertiary structure. Suppose there are different epitopes at different parts of a segments on a single peptide chain. If that peptide chain is folded together and all those are brought together at one place, now together they are called as a conformational epitope. A paratope. What is a paratope? It is a combining area on the antibody molecule which is corresponding to the epitope. So paratopes and epitopes determine the antigenic specificity. If the epitope is fitting perfectly into the paratope, it is highly specific to each other. What are the determinants of antigenicity? There are so many things which determine whether it is highly antigenic or it is feebly or weakly antigenic. One is the size of the antigen, second the chemical nature, next the susceptibility to tissue enzymes or how much easily it can be broken down, next foreignness of an antigen, antigenic specificity and heterogenetic genetic specificity. Let's see the size of an antigen. If it's a very large molecular weight, it is highly antigenic. If it's of a low molecular weight, it is non-antigenic or feebly antigenic. And these can be made highly antigenic by adsorbing with either bentonite or covalent. They can become large inert molecules. Then picryl chloride and penicillin are antigenic only when applied to the skin, as they combine to the tissue proteins present in the skin. The chemical nature of an antigen. Naturally occurring proteins and polysaccharides are antigenic. Lipids and nucleic acids are less antigenic. Next, moving on to the susceptibility to tissue enzymes. Antigens introduced into the body are degraded by the host into fragments of appropriate size containing antigenic determinants by phagocytosis and intracellular enzymes. We know that an antigen has to be presented to the antibody, to the T cells or whatever immune cells you are there regards which is specific to that antigen by combining it with an MHC complex. So it has to be broken down into those small sizes or small pieces by the tissue enzymes so that they can be presented properly by binding to an MHC complex. So that is why an antigen has to have this property of susceptibility to tissue enzymes. Next, foreignness of an antigen. Only foreign antigens induce immune response. But by chance, if an own or a self antigen is producing an immune response, it leads to autoimmunity. Antigen specificity. Firstly, species-specific antigens. These are antigens present in tissues of all individuals of a particular species. There can be some degree of cross-reaction between antigens from related species. Uses: forensic application in the identification of species by blood, identification of seminal stains, or even phylogenetic relationships. There can be hypersensitivity. Isospecificity. Isoantigens are antigens found in some but not all the members of a species. Species may be grouped depending on the presence of different isoantigens in its members. One such example is the blood group antigens. The isoantigens in these blood group antigens are A, B, AB, and O. They have a great clinical importance in blood transfusion, isoimmunization during pregnancy, and it helps in determining disputed paternity cases. Organ specificity. Some organs such as brain, kidney, and lens protein of different species share the same antigen. This is the reason why one organ of one species, the same organ in the another species, there can be complications during vaccination. Let's see one example. Neuroparalytic complication after anti-rabies vaccination using sheep brain vaccines are consequence of the brain-specific antigen shared by the sheep and the human beings. Both sheep and human beings having the same specific antigen related to the brain-specific antigen. It is because of this antigen an antibody will be produced. But the antibody which is actually produced against the sheep antigen is going to even affect a human being brain. And that is where the neuroparalytic complications turn up. The sheep brain antigen induces an immunological response in the vaccinees, damaging their nerve tissue. What is a heterophile antigen? The same or closely related antigen may sometimes occur in different biological species, classes, or kingdoms, and these are known as heterogenic or heterophile antigens. One such example is a Forceman antigen, and they are responsible for some diagnostic serological reactions. Number 1, Weil-Felix reaction used for the diagnosis of typhus fever, Paul Bunel test in diagnosis of infectious mononucleosis, and cold agglutination test in diagnosis of primary atypical pneumonia. Now let's go into superantigens. Normally, an antigen will go and bind in this place between the T cell receptor and the MHC class II molecule. But if the antigen is binding on the outside, it will be acting as a superantigen. And once this is getting attached on the outside, it is going to cause a release of interleukin 2, which is going to in turn cause massive proliferation of T lymphocytes, further releasing huge quantities of cytokines. And since large quantities of cytokines are released, there will be toxic effects on the human body. Examples of superantigens. Let's see organism wise. Firstly, Staphylococcus aureus. The superantigen produced is the enterotoxin, leading to food poisoning or toxic shock syndrome. And from group A streptococci, the superantigen is pyrogenic exotoxin, the disease shock, psoriasis, and or rheumatic heart disease. Mycobacterium tuberculosis, the disease tuberculosis. By HIV, the superantigen is negative regulatory factor, disease is AIDS. rabies virus, superantigen being nucleocapsid protein and the disease being rabies, Epstein-Barr virus causing the disease B-cell lymphoma as a result of a superantigen. So these are the various organisms acting as either the protein or a factor or a toxin released by the organism acting as superantigens and the resulting disease scenario. What are toll-like receptors? These are transmembrane receptors on the macrophages and the dendritic cells. There are 13 types of toll-like receptors, and the functions in the human body are they recognize the pathogens, they enhance phagocytosis and lead to inflammation at the site.